You are welcome to Economy Watch. This is an independent business program that is designed to use economic indicators to study the economic growth of the nation by reviewing activities of the various sectors of the economy from time to time. On this program, our resource persons discuss fundamental issues such as the economic policies and the implementation, and the expected impact of the policy on the standard of living. I am your host, Ene Igwe, and we are going on a short break. Stay tuned and don't go away.
Did you know that our high-tension transmission cables are built to withstand high temperatures except artificially induced ones such as fire? Did you know that burning bush or refuse dumped by TCN's transmission tower base or along the transmission line's right-of-way is an offense? Did you know that the fire can cause high-tension transmission lines to snap and fall to the ground, electrocuting living things within the line radius? Did you know that extreme fire can cause the legs of transmission towers to buckle, and that buckling of the main frame of a tower will lead to its collapse and may even pull down other towers along that transmission line's route, causing untold damage to the line? Now that you know, TCN is calling all citizens of Nigeria to please desist from destroying our collective national investment. Be careful. Do not set fire on trash or burn bush beside transmission towers or under electricity lines nationwide. Help us preserve the transmission grid and save the nation from blackout.
TCN, transmitting bulk electricity in the most efficient and effective manner.
You are welcome back. In today's edition of Economy Watch, we are exploring the place of TCN in the development of the power sector and the economy of the nation. But before then, let's tell you a little about TCN. TCN is one of the agencies under the Ministry of Power. It was established in 2005 with its headquarters in Abuja. The duties of TCN is to evacuate electric power generated by the electricity generating companies, GENCOs, and wheeling it to distribution companies, DISCOs, which is a provider of vital transmission infrastructure between the GENCOs and the DISCO feeders substation. The program continues after this break.
Did you know that our high-tension transmission cables are built to withstand high temperatures except artificially induced ones such as fire? Did you know that burning bush or refuse dumped by TCN's transmission tower base or along the transmission line's right-of-way is an offense? Did you know that the fire can cause high-tension transmission lines to snap and fall to the ground, electrocuting living things within the line radius? Did you know that extreme fire can cause the legs of transmission towers to buckle, and that buckling of the main frame of a tower will lead to its collapse and may even pull down other towers along that transmission line's route, causing untold damage to the line? Now that you know, TCN is calling all citizens of Nigeria to please desist from destroying our collective national investment. Be careful. Do not set fire on trash or burn bush beside transmission towers or under electricity lines nationwide. Help us preserve the transmission grid and save the nation from blackout.
TCN, transmitting bulk electricity in the most efficient and effective manner.
You are still watching Economy Watch, and you are welcome back. On today's edition, we bring you interactions with the Executive Director of TCN, Engineer Oluwabenga Emmanuel Ajiboye, who will tell us more about the development in the power sector.
Thank you for joining us on today's program, Economy Watch, a program designed to keep you abreast with the economic landscape of our country. And today we'll be talking on the place of TCN, the Transmission Company of Nigeria, in contributing to the economy of our nation. My name is Ofrom Stephen. And to do justice to this topic today, we'll be speaking with an energy guru, the Executive Director, Transmission Service Provider, TSP, Engineer Oluwabenga Ajiboye. Sir, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. You are welcome. Transmission Company of Nigeria, as it's called, TCN, is one of the company of NEPA when it was unbundled. In the old NEPA, we have three sectors, that is generation, transmission, and distribution. The GENCO has been splitted and sold to different private entities, while transmission, the operator of the grid, is maintained as one due to strategic importance of the infrastructure, while the discos are 11, also sold to different. So the function and the role of TCN is to transport the bulk power from the GENCO to the distribution. So presently, we have about three roles: as a transporter, as grid manager, and as the market operator that collates all the funds in the market and share them. That is the function of TCN as a whole now. While TSP is the operator of the grid, the manager of the grid, and the ISO are the one that coordinate the grid. So if you look at TCN, we have two sectors also, TSP and ISO. Well, presently, the function of the Transmission Company of Nigeria is where it's based on what we do. The ability to be able to evacuate all required power from the GENCO to the distribution. So the meaning is this: we need to improve on our infrastructure, the transmission line capacity and the transformation capacity. The transformation capacity is what involves the transformer. By changing the voltage level, we transmit on higher voltage of 330, 132 to reduce losses in the grid. And we now step it down at major substation for the off-taker, that is the DISCO, to be able to take the power in manageable voltage, which is not dangerous to the people that are going to utilize it. So based on that function, we need to develop more of the transmission line to be able to cover a lot of area. Though we have covered so many kilometers in Nigeria, we have 330 line radiating over 5,000 kilometers, 132 about 11 to 15,000 kilometers. So these are the things we are developing. And the transformation capacity, from the first quarter to this time we are talking about, we have added over 1,300 MVA capacity, which is very big. That is when we are talking of big transformer, we are talking of 300 MVA, which is one we have commissioned, 150 MVA, about 3. We have done about 100. Total now, we have done more transformer in the first and second quarter, and we are still continuing because we keep on commissioning every day. So also, we are trying to do line, but the line has a lot of problem in the sense that we have issue of right of way. You will be working on lines. It will get to a point you will not be able to progress because the community will stop you, that you need to pay them for you to be able to plant one tower. So that is being held down. So in another way to be able to circumvent that, what we now do in the TCN is to concentrate on the available line and be able to reinforce them to be able to win more capacity. That is what we call reconducting of those lines. In the area we cannot even get way to do another new lines. So the reconducting, because of the development in technology, we now have conductor that can carry triple the capacity of the one we have used. So we drop the old one and put those capacity. Instead of doing another line, we'll be able to carry the triple capacity of the one that was existing. That is what we are now functioning and looking at to be able to wheel more power to heavily demanded area.
All right. Currently, what is our transmission capacity, and how do you intend to improve it in the future?
Presently, we have what we call static capacity that we know. That is only determined by study. TCN capacity of over 8,000, close to 9,000 megawatts. So the meaning is this: when I say static capacity, it's a simulation. And presently we are discussing that we can wheel 8,600 megawatts, which we are convenient with. That is what we can wheel now. But it's a bit tricky in the sense that you need to put all the generation available and the disco ready to take it. But that is not happening now. What we have now in the market, even if we have the generation there, the distribution are not ready to take it due to the buying power of the populace.
All right. We always hear that there is a collapse in the national grid. We know that there are infrastructures that's supposed to be in place to make sure the national grid does not collapse. Can you tell us what is responsible for often collapse of the national grid, and how are you working to strengthen the capacity?
Well, thank you very much for that question. Though the question is directed to TCN, but let me tell you the way it operates. When we lose equilibrium in the system is when we have system collapse. The meaning is this: the energy we generated is not being stored anywhere. That is, I only take as TCN whatever the disco are ready to take from me. I collect it from the generation. So when we are talking, so many factors can cause system collapse. So if the disco are not ready to take the power and we have sudden disparity in the generation and the distribution, there will be a mismatch. And this mismatch can come in two ways. It's either if the disco is higher and the generation is low, we experience what we call under frequency. When we have under frequency, though we have measure in place to be able to take care of that, but if the decay is so fast in such a way that those measures will be defeated and I will not be able to undo it, there will be system collapse. So the unit will trip and we need to restart them. That is when we have total system collapse, when there will not be any light in any part of the grid. And again, if we are generating, the disco is taking the energy, suddenly a transmission line carrying higher capacity trip, it can lead to system collapse. Because the generator in that axis will be disconnected suddenly from the grid, and it will lead to under frequency, and all the machine will go down. Another scenario is this: when we are working, transmission might not have problem, distribution might not have problem, but if a machine trip in the disco, in the generation, that is also higher capacity, that the grid cannot accept, so there is going to be problem. So how can we ameliorate? Let me be analyzing it this way. The first, let me start from the generation, don't come to disco. One thing is very sure: for you to bring your machine to the grid, you need to ask what we call free governor. The meaning is this: when we are losing disco's load, your machine should be able to ramp down. When disco is putting more load, you should be able to go up without anybody touching the machine. Are they functioning? We need to ask ourselves that question. Most of them are not functioning. So based on that, we can see the problem the generation can cause by not having free governance, or by not activating free governance on their system. Where the problem from transmission can come is this: we're supposed to have complete SCADA monitoring everybody, both the generation, the transmission, and the disco load. We don't have effective one now. We are still working to make sure it covers the whole Nigeria, because every equipment, every line that comes to the grid must be seen and monitored. That is not viable now. It's not effective 100%. That percentage is very low. So few machines, few equipment are visible to the controller, that is NCC. So based on that, they cannot see in a clear way what is happening on the grid everywhere. So that is the aspect of transmission. When you now go to disco, the major problem we have is this. Take, for example, I'm wheeling about 200 megawatts to Abuja, and rain started falling. The load just suddenly dropped to 60 megawatts. It is too much. So when we are talking about everybody have a share in the system collapse, it's not limited to TCN, but because TCN is the manager of the grid, is the owner of the grid, is seen as if his own grid has collapsed, that is the one responsible. It's not always true every time. So every other sector must wrap up effort to make sure they put in place measures required by them to be able to manage the grid. As the Genco have their own, transmission have their own, and disco have their own. You don't expect when there is rainfall for a feeder to trip. It's not normal. It's abnormal. So you're supposed to have light, either it's raining or not. But in a situation whereby we lose all the 33 kV feeder or 11 kV feeder during rainfall, and there is nothing for generation to feed, they have to quickly ramp down. And sometimes if it's not incremental, if it's sudden, the generation will lose synchronism and they will also trip, either over frequency, if the load had dropped suddenly, or if it's generation that went down on that frequency. So it happens that way. It is so systematic that everybody have to put everything in place to be able to work and be able to achieve balanced grid.
So what you say is that during rainfall, that's not supposed to be.
No,
It's
supposed
not supposed to be off.
Yeah.
So something is wrong somewhere.
Yes.
What was that?
That is it. Is infrastructure in the other sector that I think need to be visited. It's not that it cannot happen, but it should not be so comprehensive. It should not be so elaborate. Because if it's raining and there is thunderstorm, it can strike 1 or 2 feeders. It can go off. But not that in a situation whereby I have multiple feeder and I lose. Maybe let's give an example that I have a substation that have 13 feeders, 33 kV feeder, and it started raining and 12 of them trip due to the rainfall. It's abnormal. It's misnomer. It's supposed not to be. We can have percentage of incidences because transmission do have like that. You can have incidents during thunderstorm that a line will trip, but we should have another one to be able to take the responsibility of that line that is going out. That is where the issue of N-1 redundancy coming in TCN. We have to some extent, but do other people have? We need to ask the question.
What do you say? The distribution companies, the generation companies, TCN, you need to work together.
We need
but there is always blame game here and there. These people, it's from you, it's from. How can these particular, all these companies, how can they work together to make sure there is effectiveness?
It will be difficult. I will tell you where it's going to be difficult a bit. The other sector are privately driven. They are profit-oriented. TCN is seen as a government one that anybody can dump anything on. So most of the time, they don't even wait for the investigation or the grid collapse. Everybody shifts it to TCN. And TCN as it is a Father Christmas you have to accept because you are government. You don't need to rock the boat. But we have been trying to explain, wait for the outcome of it. Because we have some stamp recorded events that we will bring out after the collapse. We will now tell you, it is so line that trip before this thing started. It's also generator that trip before this thing started. It's so disco that dropped flood suddenly that made this to happen. Everything, every time is not only TCN. And instances will happen that we will lose so much load, the voltage will go up suddenly. And if this voltage go up, instead of our equipment to get damaged, TCN have the protective mean to isolate that equipment on over voltage. If not, the equipment can explode. So in a situation whereby we have sudden decrease in load and the voltage rapidly goes up, and the transmission try to cut off that voltage, it will be seen as if it's transmission that caused that problem. But no, it's not transmission. Somebody initiated that action that made transmission to respond. We have what we call grid code. Everybody's role is known. And there are rules guiding us that you must be able to do this and effect this. And sanction is coming into the market now. If you don't do what you're supposed to do, you pay fine to the market. So which we have been paying, DISCO has been paying. It's only GENCO that has not been paying, and they are trying to bring them on board by signing agreement on your performance level so that you must not go below this level in your performance.
All right, we'll be rounding up very soon. Assuming you are given an opportunity to tell the government to make a shopping list that must be done to improve power supply in the country according to order of importance, what would the outlook be?
Actually, if I want to tell the government what to do, you see, in Nigeria, we use power to enjoy. Our power consumption is leisure. That is why we are seeing hibernating around 5,000 megawatts, 6,000 megawatts. No serious economy use power for AC and watching television. Incentive should be given to people for factory, setting up production line, so that bulk energy will be required, which will make everybody to invest in energy market to be able to supply. Presently, most of the production are off the grid, and nobody is trying to sell because of the nature of the energy. That is not helping. The government should work in that aspect to encourage people to bring in power-consuming industry to be able to invest in power sector. And another one, the exchange rate is so high. We import virtually everything in power sector. The government should put incentive in place to be able to encourage local manufacturing and outrightly ban the importation of certain energy equipment that should be produced in Nigeria. You see, if you go through the network of TCN and NIPP and some of these, we have so many abandoned projects that will improve the power. Government should look in funding the ones that have identified that are paramount and rightly necessary to enhance power in Nigeria. You see, I told you the other time about right of way. If you look at right of way issue, we plan to deliver a project in 18 months or 24 months. Everything is available. You have community to deal with. We have been talking. Let us gazette all this right of way and line. Let government, federal government take hold of it, because presently the land belongs to the state government. And let me tell you, it's not like that, because state government cannot even do anything. Community will not allow you to work on it. Community will not allow you to work on it. Presently, again, the waiver, no waiver for power equipment. That is why the cost of energy is high. Is discouraging. The government should look at the serious equipment and the one we cannot manufacture here, the one we cannot force manufacturer to come down here, to give waiver to this equipment, so that they can easily be brought in at a rate that will be competitive for people to be able to use them to produce electricity that will not be too expensive.
All right. Finally, yesterday we had that there's a collapse in the national grid.
Yes.
Tell us, just give us an update. We are inside here, we saw light just came and I said that is everything in order.
It is not easy. It's just like when you are starting a complex system, you need to do it stepwise. Actually, we brought back the system around 3 a.m., but part of it went down about 0917 hours before we started coming back now. Abuja is not completely out since the midnight. Even when everywhere was going down, Abuja was still on till around 12. Some people had light. So this morning, some people had light because we can feed from Shiroro to Abuja. So it was only yesterday night that we can say we have complete system collapse. But by this midnight, we already restored supply. So, as I told you, I will be unfair to other market participants if I stop pointing finger now. The only person that can give us the accurate reason for the system collapse is NCC. They will go through the sequence of events that happen because they have the record and be able to pinpoint this is where this problem started. This is what caused the oscillation in the system. This is why we lose equilibrium. This is why we had under frequency. The system that went yesterday went on under frequency, stage 1 and stage 2. It means it was so sudden that we lost large chunk of power somewhere. Or we lost, let me put it, we lost a generator, big generator. That is why the generation was not big to meet the demand of the disco. It resulted in under frequency. And the under frequency happens in such a way that when it gets to certain limits, because of the heating up or the winding of the generator, they will start tripping. And we will have cascaded tripping, which happened yesterday night. So based on that, the system went down. But it's still being restored now, as you can witness it.
This is Economy Watch, and we'll be drawing the curtain here. Today we'll be speaking with an energy guru, the Executive Director, Transmission Service Provider, TSP, Engineer Oluwawenga Ajiboye. Sir, thank you for giving us your audience.
Thank you, sir.
Viewers, I hope you enjoyed today's edition of the program Economy Watch. And that's the much we have for you today on this episode. Thank you for watching, and I remain your host, Ene Iguve, and it's bye for now.
Did you know that our high-tension transmission cables are built to withstand high temperatures, except artificially induced ones such as fire? Did you know that burning bush or refuse dumped by TCN's transmission tower base or along the transmission line's right-of-way is an offense? Did you know that the fire can cause high-tension transmission lines to snap and fall to the ground, electrocuting living things within the line radius? Did you know that extreme fire can cause the legs of transmission towers to buckle, and that buckling of the main frame of a tower will lead to its collapse and may even pull down other towers along that transmission line's route, causing untold damage to the line? Now that you know, TCN is calling all citizens of Nigeria to please desist from destroying our collective national investment. Be careful. Do not set fire on trash or burn bush beside transmission towers or under electricity lines nationwide. Help us preserve the transmission grid and save the nation from blackout.
TCN, transmitting bulk electricity in the most efficient and effective manner.